Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Forecast, and today's video I'm reviewing the Marseille-Liverpool game. And I think the first place we need to look at is the Liverpool lineup that Slot went and the system. And Slot decided to pick a 4 at the back with 2 holding midfielders, a left 10, a right 10 and then 2 up front. And I thought this was a great lineup to actually select for this game, and I think it worked in so many ways. First of all, I really liked the fact that this allowed Kirkies and Frimpong to play as wing-backs, and these are wing-backs by trait. They love getting up and down, and specifically this works for Frimpong in this game. Then we had the 2 midfield of Gravenberch and McAllister, which is a good midfield when they are playing well, when they played pretty well today. Then we had Wirtz instead of a left 10 position, which is actually the position where I think we might be able to get the most out of this player. This is a position where he excelled at Bayer Leverkusen, and I've always thought he's suited to sort of a half-winger position, and this is basically what he was able to play in today's game. And then he had an overlapping fullback, which he also had at Bayer Leverkusen. For Dominic Szoboszlai, I think getting him further forward in the right 10 also was very effective. And then we had Salah and Ekitike out front. And I've wanted to see Salah as a right striker, getting into more goal-scoring positions. Not up front by himself, but I think in a 2 he can definitely work. And obviously Hugo Ekitike, he's always great to watch in Liverpool games. And Liverpool started this game pretty well. And I think this game actually really suited us because Marseille were looking to play out from the back. They were inviting pressure, and that's something that Liverpool haven't been able to do this season, is press high and cause pressure in different ways, because teams in the Premier League have gone very direct this season, and clearly Marseille hadn't done enough homework and hadn't decided to adapt, which isn't surprising with a manager like Roberto De Zerbi. And I felt for Marseille they had to exploit us at our weaknesses, because when we're actually playing this sort of football, we are still a very good side, as we saw in today's game. And we created a lot of chances by winning the ball high up. But we were struggling with the final pass and the final third. Both sides were, but Liverpool specifically. And we couldn't find a way to sort of go 1-0 up early in this game. There were some great chances. Dominic Szoboszlai had a massive chance to play in. I think it was Ekitike, but he misplaced the pass. And Liverpool just couldn't quite find the opening goal. We obviously scored through it, an offside goal. A good ball in by Dominic Szoboszlai, but Ekitike was offside. And we kept building in that first half. And overall, I felt that we got the deserved goal through Szoboszlai right at the end of the first half. A great free kick under the wall. I was surprised by the fact that Marseille had no draft excluder for this free kick, as that's a very common thing to do these days, is put someone under the wall so to stop people doing this, as it's very common for sides to lie down and stop those free kicks going under the wall, but they didn't do this in today's game. And going into the break, I felt it was a fair reflection of what we'd seen in that first half. Liverpool largely dominated the game and were the better side, and were a lot more threatening than Liverpool been in recent games, and they deserved to be 1-0 up. Going into that second half, Marseille did improve as a side, but Liverpool did have some big chances through Ekitike and Wirtz to go 2-0 up. And the goal came from some brilliant play by Jeremy Frimpong, playing as a wing-back. And these are the sort of positions we want Frimpong in, because he's so effective going forward, he's so quick, he's good at dribbling. And it was, to be honest, it was a comical error by Marseille in terms of Rulli, the keeper, putting the ball in the back of his own nets. But it was still good play by Frimpong. And even if Rulli doesn't do this, I still think potentially a Liverpool player gets on the ends of the Frimpong pass. And look, Frimpong's passing I think could have been better tonight, but overall he was a massive threat down that right-hand side. And from there, it looked like Liverpool were in control of the game, and it was going to be about, could Liverpool score any more goals? Mo Salah had a massive opportunity to put Liverpool 3-0 up in this game, but it was a terrible finish. Trying the outside of the foot finish, and he should have just hit it on his right foot, even though that is his weaker foot. And that was a well-created chance by Gakpo, who came on and had some impact in this game. And he did find the goal for Liverpool to make it 3-0. And a convincing 3-0 win for Liverpool. I'd say a deserved result. I think we played a lot better than Marseille. And Marseille just didn't have the quality, I don't think, to compete with Liverpool playing this sort of way. If they went direct and long, we may be looking at a different story, based on how Liverpool have been playing so far this season. So then we're on to the player ratings for Marseille and Liverpool. Starting off with Marseille, Rulli in net, I'm going to give Rulli a 3. He was absolutely awful, and he scored an own goal. Benjamin Pavard, I'm going to give him a 6, a solid performance from him. Ballarati, I'm also going to give him a 6, as well as Medina and Murillo, I'm also going to give a 6. Then on to Timothy Weah, I'm going to give him a 6.5. I thought he was decent. Then we've got Kondogbia, and I'm going to give Kondogbia a 6. Then we've got Højbjerg, and I'm going to give Højbjerg a 7. He was good for Marseille in today's game. And Traoré, I'm going to give a 6. Then Greenwood up front, I'm going to give Greenwood a 6.5. And then Amini Gore, I'm going to give him a 6. For the manager, De Zerbi, this may seem harsh. I'm going to give De Zerbi a 4. And that's because he didn't adapt and he didn't look to exploit Liverpool's weaknesses. He stuck by his principles and he lost, and he deserves a low rating for this. Marseille were decent in today's game, but he had to understand the fact that if he played like this, Liverpool were going to tear them apart, and that is what happened in this game. So then we're on to the Liverpool player ratings, starting off with Alisson in goal. I'm going to give him a 7. He was good in today's game. Then we've got Jeremy Frimpong. I'm going to give him a 7. He was good going forward. He could have been better defensively, but overall I think he deserves credit for a good performance. Then Joe Gomez and Van Dijk, I thought they were excellent tonight. I'm going to give them both an 8. Joe Gomez was outstanding considering the lack of football he's been playing. Then we've got Milos Kerkez. I'm going to give Kerkez a 7.5. He was excellent for Liverpool. Then we've got Ryan Gravenberch. I'm going to give Ryan Gravenberch a 7. I think he could have been slightly better in the first half, but in the second half he was outstanding. Then we've got Alexis McAllister. I'm going to give him a 6.5. A good performance from McAllister. Could have been probably slightly better. Then we've got Florian Wirtz. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he was good in this sort of left-hand role that he played. And I think that sort of position is going to get the best out of him. And I'd like to see it going forward. Then we've got Dominic Szoboszlai. I'm going to give Dominic Szoboszlai a 9. He was outstanding. Scored the free kick. And overall, he was brilliant. He mucked up a couple of counter-attacks in that first half, but I still think he deserves a really high rating for his performance. Then we've got Mo Salah, who plays as a right striker. I really like that position for Salah, and I think in the future it could get the best out of him, but for today's game it didn't really. I'm going to give him a 6, and Ekitike I'm going to give a 6.5. He could have definitely scored a goal today, Hugo Ekitike, both of them could have, but they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. For the manager, Arne Slot, I'm going to give Arne Slot an 8. He changed the system in a tough away game at Marseille, and he got it absolutely spot on for changing the system. He deserves credit for this. And that was one of Liverpool's best performances of the season. I don't think it's any surprise it came against a side that tried to match us. Look, if you look at the other games where we've played well this season, it was against Real Madrid we played well, it was against Aston Villa we played well in that game, and it's because teams were willing to play out from the back, which allowed us to press. And that's something that's so important to Liverpool. And teams have been clever this season. They've gone direct. They've not allowed for the press to be nearly as effective. I don't think Liverpool are back, but I do think that is an encouraging sign and performance. And maybe in these Champions League games where teams are a bit more naive and playing this sort of way against Liverpool, we do have a decent chance of winning. As a lot more teams play sort of an open style of football, the top European teams, than in the Premier League. And that's often because this is the sort of football that can dominate their league. And I guess the question is, should Liverpool go with a similar system for the game on the weekend and future games? I do think it is worth trying this out in the Premier League. It might not be as effective because of this. But Liverpool's next game is against Bournemouth, and I think we should be trying to go with a very similar system and line up for that game. Because Bournemouth will play. They will look to play out from the back at points, and they will look to press us high, which should suit Liverpool in that game. I think the real test could be the game after against Newcastle. Newcastle are unlikely to be so open and play out from the back like this away at Anfield. But after that, we're also playing City at Anfield, and City will 100% play out from the back in that game, which should give us an opportunity to press high, and City aren't playing particularly well right now. And then after that, we've got Sunderland, where it's going to be a lot more of a test to play that sort of style of football in terms of pressing high and looking to beat the press, because teams like Sunderland won't allow us to press high like we did in today's game. But I still think it's worth trying to stick to that system. Maybe you have to slightly adapt it for different games, because it can get the best out of the players that we have right now at Liverpool, especially the fullbacks in Frimpong and Kerkez. In terms of these two sides in the Champions League, for Liverpool should now go through in the automatic places into the top 8 for the Champions League. We won't have to do any extra games to get into the round of 16, which is great news for Liverpool, considering Liverpool don't need extra fixtures right now, considering how much we are struggling in the Premier League right now. Looking at Marseille, they are potentially in jeopardy of not qualifying at all and not even getting into the playoffs if they fail to win their next game away at Club Brugge. Liverpool's next game is against Karabag, so it should be a simple 3 points for Liverpool in that game. Let me know your thoughts on this game, and if you enjoy this, it would be great if you subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video.